We have a very interesting take here now about how movies and mythology, there's a role play in that. If we really look at the whole history of movie making, it started with mythological stories itself. The very first one, Raja Harishchandra, was a mythological in that sense, and how we have moved from there on to today, how mythology is playing a role, or is there a role for it to play. So we have with us Mr.Anjum Rajabali, who is a very renowned screenplay and scriptwriter about this. Since his CV is pretty long and detailed, I'd rather play a short clip that introduces his work and his background, so that will give us a very beautiful perspective of what he's saying. So I'll take a look. Yes.
I'm sorry about this. This was an unnecessary introduction. You need to have done that. I am not an actor and I'm not a producer. So don't go by that. If there's any, there are two hats which I wear, that's writer and teacher. Maybe a unionist like my father. So I know I'm very happy to be here. I was delighted when Akhilesh put me in touch with all of you and with Sunil particularly. So I have to admit I have been waiting for this. And he did say that it would be an interactive session which makes it even livelier. And obviously we can touch upon more spaces and areas, and it gives me an opportunity also not just to be questioned but to also learn from what you people have to say, the insights that you have gathered, the thoughts which you have. I also have to make an admission that I envy you. You have actually made the time and the commitment to do this course, delve into this very, very fascinating, unendingly fascinating subject of mythology. So I'm hoping to be able to discuss with you people what you also have to share with me and what you are able to throw at me, which I can take back. So, how do you want to do this? You tell me, do you want me to start with the introduction of what it means to me, mythology, what impact it's had on me? It's, whatever I have to say, you are, I guess, more than aware of, but let me still try to encapsulate what it has meant to me. See, I do somewhere feel, and forgive the sweeping nature of the comment, that almost every sustained human endeavor, since the birth of civilization, since people began to communicate with each other, every single endeavor, regardless of whether it's been in the field of science or whether it's been in the field of arts, culture, psychology, storytelling, it's essentially aimed at helping human beings make sense out of life, helping human beings discover some meaning which will give them some sort of an understanding of life, given the kind of chaotic, contrary beings that we are. And this quest for meaning, I feel, comes actually from the phenomenon that we do not understand ourselves. If you were to look at the revolutionary work that, say, Freud did, I mean, one thing that he brought home to us is that 90% of my mind, that is 90% of what makes us who we are, is really not available to us. We don't know that. Which means we don't know who we are. I mean, it's a very, very confounding and a very distressing reality. Before that, you had Darwin. I mean, Darwin sort of said that there's no such thing as creation, and that you weren't born in heaven and God didn't create you. You were evolved from the same ancestors as our monkeys. So it's a very humbling thought. So these reality checks, including what sort of Copernicus talked about, that that the Earth is not the center of the universe. I mean, it's just one speck amongst the millions of galaxies around, and the sun is the center of our solar system. What I'm trying to say is that all these discoveries, which have been really very, very stellar, have somehow, in fact, impelled human beings to try and seek some meaning, some handle in life, something which gives us a definition. And as Campbell so eloquently puts it, I mean, his language also, I'm so fascinated and impressed and seduced by the kind of language that Professor Campbell uses. That when he outlines, as you know, that there are three, in fact, avenues through which the unconscious is made available to us. The first of them being dreams, okay, and which is where Freud and others come in. Second, of course, is rituals that he talks about, which was really an eye-opener for me. Dreams, at least, I had a sense of, because I have sort of partially trained in psychoanalysis, and when I came to Bombay actually to become a psychoanalyst, a formal trained psychoanalyst. That dream didn't work out, or I guess the personal shortcomings, I guess, and I didn't have the emotional makeup, I was told. But after sustained training in that, fair enough. It still enriched my life. So dreams and then rituals. Rituals, we usually dismiss rituals. Hocus pocus, mumbo jumbo, so there are shortcuts that Pandits and always give us. That logo was time. And little do we realize that these actions have sustained over centuries precisely because of this inner distress that we feel. They help us, as Campbell says, negotiate through different stages of life. And then, of course, mythology, which is perhaps the most ordered, the most accessible, the most cognizable, sort of formulation of what actually goes on in the unconscious. And this is where I feel primarily my connection with mythology, personally, as well as through my work, through my sort of creative endeavors, that it comes in. As far as my life is concerned, personally, I'd say, what do stories do? Stories also are another way through which situations in reality in our own life which are ununderstandable, which are confounding for us, stories order those kind of situations in a certain way whereby we are able to sort of again make sense out of it. I keep coming back to that theme of making sense. From a very young age, I introduced him to a lot of stories, and he's also very keenly interested in writing. And so he's 11 years old, so kiddish writing than he does, but stories. And mythology is what I really did emphasize, precisely because of this conviction of mine that mythology touches deep into the depths of human nature and things which otherwise would have overwhelmed us. Those experiences, here somewhere you begin to get a glimpse that there is a consistency in mythology, because the person, in spite of his contrary behavior at different times, contradictory choices, is actually the same unified person. And there was an incident which took place which strikes me now. He was, I think, about 2.5, 3 years old perhaps. And he was told, he was promised that it was Saturday evening, so you'll be given ice cream. So he likes natural ice cream. So natural ice cream, so order kiya hum logon ne. He got a scoop. He wanted more because it's very tasty, it's seductively tasty. So he was given another half a scoop, but he wanted more. And my wife said, no, it's not good for you. It's winter season and you get your throat and school and this and that, blah, blah, blah. He just threw such a tantrum, it shocked us. He was so angry. And in that anger came out the accusations. You never loved me. We never loved you. Hello? I mean, should I recount that? What can I done? You never loved me and you've always been like that. And the more his mother tried to explain, and at that stage I was watching, I didn't want to intervene because I felt that I would sort of bring in a certain authority which might curb his expression. So allow him to do that. There's nothing wrong with feeling angry. But he acted on it. He kicked his mother quite hard on the shin. I mean, she didn't get hurt, but he put all his force behind him. And then he ran away into his room, flung himself on the bed, and he started crying. My wife told me that, see, he's so upset because we didn't give the ice cream that he can't bear it, he's crying. And I suspected that was not the crying. The crying had a distress. Yeah. So I went and inquired this student and discovered that obviously he was feeling very bad, that he hadn't been able to help him, so obviously he felt very guilty. And he just didn't know how to resolve that. He was so overwhelmed that how could I, who love these people, my mother cared so much for me, I'm so grateful to her, and I know that she loves me, and yet this is what I do, I accuse her and I kick her. So when some anger sort of subsided, he was just burdened with this guilt that he just couldn't resolve. I tried to explain to him, it happens, and a bit of psychology, pushpas, etc. But that academic sort of, thing that has a very limited impact. It didn't become an experience for him. My words remained at the level of some bhashan or something. My father's trying to make me feel better. Okay, I let it go. And then we came to that sort of situation in the Mahabal, because I have been telling him the story, slowly. In a few days itself, I think maybe about 2 weeks or so, we came to the stage of the dice game in the Mahabal. And Yudhishthira goes on and on. He loses everything. Completely unfounding behavior, ununderstandable. And then comes the worst part. The worst episode, as you will all agree, in the history of narrative literature is what happened to Draupadi. So she's dragged out and I was explaining to him some detail. And his one question was, he was very upset. His one question was, what was Karna doing? Because Karna was his hero. Karna and the others, but Karna definitely stands out because Karna is the subject of such deep archetypal fantasies of ours, and all of us have fantasies about being abandoned and all that jazz. So he was very concerned. He said, but Karna was there. What was Karna doing? I said, I'm coming to that. And then I gave him in sadistic detail what Karna did. That when Vikarn, you remember, Vikarn spoke up, the only, Kaurava member who spoke up, the youngest, and look at the Chaturvedi, Vikarn Karn. So Vikarn speaks up and says, this is nonsense. I mean, you're going by all this policy. A blameless, innocent woman is being treated like this. Does that not bother you? Can't you stop it? And it did have a momentary impact on the others sitting there until Vikarn intervened. And he in fact said, the first thing, you should not speak up, you're very young. The second thing he said, which was killing, that how can you call a woman who sleeps with 5 men blameless or innocent or even respectable? She is a whore and she should be treated like one. And Duryodhana took over after that. He was shocked. And I asked him again, twisting the knife in his gut, that do you think that if Karna had actually told Duryodhana that please stop this, I don't agree with this is wrong, what do you think? Do you think it would have had an impact on Duryodhana? He said he would have stopped because he depended on Karna's survival. And son in some respect does show a certain kind of maturity which does also surprise me at times. So he did say, he said no, he would stop because he depended on him. I said, yeah, but he didn't do it. Now I said, now deal with it. He's your hero who's a victim, who suffered. Our sympathy goes out to him. He's valorous, he's generous, he's courageous, he's loyal. All the qualities that we aspire to, inculcate in ourselves. And yet he does something like this. First he told me, why? I explained to him about envy, I brought up the whole mythical unconscious thing that actually he should have been part of the Pandavas, etc. He didn't know it, but somewhere he's being. The mythology is about that, it's about instinct and not necessarily about the conscious knowledge. So those things I'm trying to explain. But I did talk about envy, I did talk about anger, I talked about jealousy. But I said that he was capable of that and that made him do this. Deplorable as it was. Doing this, people do that. And I'm telling you, it hit the target bang on. Because I continued with the story that, okay, the repeat of the dice game, this and all that was going on. But he was distracted. And I sensed it. And sure enough, he interrupted me and he said, isn't that what happened to me that day? Because that I was not like that. But I behaved like that at that time. Because I was so angry that I really couldn't control myself and you forgive me. I said, no, forgiveness is not, are you right? All of us are like that. This is what mythology brings home to us, that hum sabke andar ye violence, demonic, sort of monster, all these unresolved contradictions are there and they explode. And we only call ourselves civilized because we are able to control those impulses. We are no different from the marauders and the rapists, and thank you very much. Or Hitler, or others in this country, which they're the surfing of these days. But anyway, that's why. It's just that we are managing to control ourselves. That's the only difference. One should be aware, and one can only be aware if you acknowledge it. And that is also what comes home to us, which is what Krishna talks about. So I'm saying, once again, instead of it remaining merely an academic fascination, which it also is, but because mythology is actually what brings a certain, it is a modicum of meaning to our understanding of life or ourselves and gives us the courage to acknowledge, given that heroic figures were capable of sacrifice that you cannot even dream of. when they are able to also succumb to those things, this sort of understanding with certain humility and an acceptance of oneself. This is one example that I have given you, but I am saying in a variety of ways it keeps coming on. In that sense, there is an enrichment. Personally, I feel that I have certainly benefited from, given particularly Indian mythology. Yes, of course, we talk about the Odyssey and talk about Iliad, etc., which are not all that sort of well upon, and you people are, I agree. But the Indian epics are, for me, good enough to explore this hidden world. Then, of course, as far as professional work is concerned, it's not really professional, but more, I would say, vocational, because I don't always do it to earn money. I do earn decent amounts of money, but the aim is not that, and that's not the motivation. I mean, that would be foolish. I mean, we, got high on money and success and all. I mean, our life has become so small. But I do it because I like to explore that. It again allows me a chance. But there again, certain constructs, not consciously lifted, but because you have somewhere imbibed them, introjected them, I mean, that's a Freudian word, and they've become in some sense second nature to your kind of thinking. So particularly the rhythms of life, then you are able to distill and turn it into a screenplay, into a story, because it also somewhere resonates with mythology. Some of the examples I'll give you before we go on to a discussion phase of this occasion is like, drama. I mean, all stories, all genres are essentially drama. Okay? Because there are dramatic constructs, which is what makes for every kind of genre, whether it's thriller, horror, love story, comedy, whatever. Basically, the conflict situation that you're tapping into. Now, once again here, a lot of students, young writers, even senior ones, complain that of this creative block. Okay. A lot of teachers, mentors, consultants, producers complain when there's not enough conflict. ये material में उतना दम नहीं है, इसको छोड़ दो, क्योंकि it doesn't have enough dramatic richness for you to fulfill a whole screen. ये आपने बहुत कमजोर material चुना है, ये अक्सर ये सुनाई देता है. But this is where the hero with 1,000 faces sort of does inform and educate one, and I'm able to also use that. You look at, I mean, you all read it backwards, forwards, up, down, right? Every single word you must have devoured, and I'm sure you can read it to me without looking at the book. Is the monomyth that Campbell has formulated so beautifully. And there is what comes home to me each time that I revisit it, and I do extensive talks for my students and in workshops on the hero with 1,000 faces, and then I do 2 to 3 day workshop on that, going by really paragraph by paragraph, because there's so much wealth in there. You look at the 17 broad stages that he talks about, starting with the call and ending with freedom to live. Every single stage of that journey is an insurmountable challenge for the hero. Okay, including the last one. Including after you become a hero and you come back to the golden fleece or whatever it is, still you can become a tyrant, you can become all kinds of things. The hero can really, which means that the challenges of life, because of our nature, never stops. Now, if this is what is available in a single human being, this world of unresolvable conflict, why is it not getting reflected and resonated in your stories? So all you have to do is really be able to revisit mythology, to be able to educate yourself in what Professor Campbell talks about, and then come back to your stories and then talk to me whether there is enough material there. As long as there are human beings involved, there is unending, there is infinite amount of material available, which is why stories will never cease. So once again here, one is in terms of being able to look under the surface. It's simple, we're all sitting here. You feel you want to listen to me, I want to speak with you, I want to listen to you, you want to speak. It's all harmony. And yet all it takes perhaps is one minor provocation for this very harmonious, civilized situation to turn into chaos and conflict and fight and quarrels and perhaps even walkouts. So I'm saying it just lies under the surface. All we need to know is to be able to how to tap it, how to provoke it, and how to coax it out of there, how to be able to imagine it. And for that, the inspiration is available in this, Professor Campbell's work. In any case, so given this, one is this, that there's always rich dramatic material available in every situation that has human beings in your story. And number two is the heights to which the drama goes. If you look at the kind of challenges that the hero faces, I mean, you read that. I mean, demonic figures, figures, supernatural sort of beings, which are all essentially also in one sense, because I come from the field of psychology, I'd like to see it that way, that there are also reflections, projections of the demons which are inside of us, those formless forces, instinctual death, sort of desires and all kinds of other monstrosities that we contain inside of, simultaneously with the nurturing, loving, sacrificing, gentle, creative, sublime forces which there are. So mythology shows you that it is possible for you to unleash those instinctual forces to an extent where they acquire a certain larger than life form, and that is actually the power I feel of that. The fact that the clashes which take place, for example, in the Mahabal or in the Ramayana, 10 heads. Oh, give me a break. Which human being has 10 heads? But those 10 heads are saying something. Those 10 heads are saying something when you say that he stood on 1 foot for 100 years or so. Come on, it's not physically possible, but it's hardly about logic. It's not about reality. It's not about fact. It's about the truth. Mythology is not about fact. When we say, ऐसे थोड़ी हो सकता है, it's not about logic. It is about the truth of human condition that we're talking about. Therefore, our stories, particularly Indian stories, have always reflected that. We have never shied away from melodrama, we have never shied away from titanic moral sort of combats taking place where people are willing to give up their lives and their wives and their children, like Raja Harishchandra that was referred to. That it's not about whether he actually did that or not. It's about the fact that it is possible for a person to be such an idealist where his ideals are the only purpose for his existence. Like Bhagat Singh, for example. So I'm saying this we have lost out on in our cinema because of this whole realism which came in because of Hollywood and the need to go international, and the younger generation was brought up on the fear of Hollywood where they felt embarrassed about our own narrative form. क्या loud, pretty bombastic dialogue and music and वो सारा फांसी पे चढ़ रहा है वो गाना गा रहा है ये illogical है, it is so unrealistic and all that, and we lost out on it. We lost out on the power of our narrative traditions, which actually we understood in its own cultural orientation and not as a yardstick of logic or it was credible for us. We didn't have a problem of people using music when they died, when somebody died, or music when somebody was born, happy, sad. Every situation in this culture allows a musical expression. So it's also a disconnect which is taking place from our own traditional reality, from our own, the continuum of what our own civilization has been like. Now, I'm not saying civilization is going to evolve. I'm hardly the one to say, hey, let's go back and become fundamentalists. Not at all. But I'm saying in that evolution, we have also lost out on the charm of that meaning which came from depths that we didn't understand, but it still made sense to us. We could not go out of that play which we saw some Ramayana or whatever being enacted, or a classical Sanskrit theatre, or even an Urdu Farsi theatre. We didn't go out and try to explain it. We're not academics, but it certainly made sense to us. It was credible, even if it was not believable. So those distinctions we seem to have lost out on. And I remember who made.
I'm sorry. I just want to say
Please.
something else. I agree to you
Yeah.
to an extent that yes, we are constantly holding the yardstick of logic in Hollywood to everything. But in fact, I had a contrary observation to make as well, if you don't mind. I feel whenever we take recourse to mythology in any of our films or movies, we try to oversimplify it so much And we are trying to bring in the Bollywood escapism to it so much that everything has to turn out into a happily ever after and people have to go home feeling satisfied with whatever's happened. So that we are missing out the subtleties or the reality check that these stories are giving us at every turn. So for example, if you take Mahabal, you don't feel happy when you end that book. You don't say, oh, yay, they won. You don't do that because it still leaves that bitter taste. Ridhima.
Huh?
Ridhima.
You know, there are too many chairs in between us. Walk there and shake your hand.
No, but my question is, are we really
Let me.
oversimplifying?
We are. What you have said is absolutely the truth. Okay. However, I think we should also be a little careful about throwing out the baby with the bathwater. Okay, the way in which it has been used by what we call Bollywood, a term that I'm a little uneasy with, so I request all of us to use Hindi cinema or popular cinema. So in mainstream cinema, we certainly have been guilty of simplifying that, and 90% of the times, we are actually guilty of doing that. And again, an intensive conversation that Akhilesh and I were having in the car while coming here about this compulsion to be feel good. Yeah, look at it, that's Akhilesh because you haven't seen him in class. Own admission. So I'm sorry I'm embarrassing him. But he's the one who actually spoke with me first and then put me in touch with Surendra. It's absolutely true. But I'm saying that doesn't mean that mythology by itself is not capable of informing us and of enriching our narratives. Okay, number one. Number two, what we do also with social issues, what do? We bring out some problem. We were talking about Tare Zameen Par or even Three Idiots or this PK. You pick up a very serious issue, but eventually you will end with a massage. You know, that's when everything, all is well. All is not well, you know. Let me leave the theatre with that disturbing thoughts of the night. It stays with me, but no, the point is to be able to reassure you that, भैया, काम खत्म हो गया, अभी आप जाइए, प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो गया. हीरो ने कर दिया, वो 2 गाने गा दिया, उसने बॉक्स काम कर दिया, और बच्चा एकदम पेंटर बन गया, और जो भी बन जाता है, वो बच्चा जो है, so it is true. We are guilty of taking every kind of material, whether from reality or from mythology or from imagination and fantasy, and turning into that. But that still doesn't. I'm saying that still doesn't stop us, of not recognizing that actually both Mahabharata and Ramayana, in spite of the victories, are tragedies. They are very, very disturbing tragedies. What happened? I mean, Ram killed himself, for God's sake. Lakshmana went and killed himself, for God's sake. I mean, these two values people. You think Arjuna was very happy at the end of the Mahabharata? You think Yudhishthira was happy? You think anybody was happy? You should name me one person. So it just brings home to us that this actually life is about pain.
Yeah, in my Sanskrit classes I always tell that this is the influence of the ghost of Radhuni still lurking on our minds. That Natya is for enjoyment, is for entertainment, and so.
Again, I am I'm sorry to disagree, but I feel that even Bharat's thing, not Shastra's thing. Yeah, but I'm saying if you look at his definition of entertainment, okay, it's also when you talk about the whole Navras thing that it leaves you actually suffused and filled up with those rasas, and a lot of those rasas are anger, vivas, etc. But yeah, his analysis is more like a treatise on how to write and how to.
But see, for him, a play, because films were not there back then, so play was the medium of visual expression. So a play is a toy. It's a toy. And so it is to give you pleasure. And so having a happy ending. So I'll give you an example. Uttam Charitam of Bhavati. It would have ended in a tragedy. But Bhavati changed that play. Changed the theme of Ramayana. Just to show how it's not a breakup story. That's why I was.
Actually, you know, I don't know what you people
That's why we
feel.
don't have tragedy. Except Karnavana.
And Bhas is always so next to me. Yeah,
Pre-birth. We
Okay.
don't have tragedy in Sanskrit texts.
Really?
Yeah.
Except except Karnamara and Uruma.
And
Wow.
before
That's
They
what
are
it
also-
is.
they are also- they are
That should be looked
They are
into.
not shown on the stage.
So is that influence, is that age-old influence still continuing?
It's not that. See, the influence actually on cinema, if you really want to isolate, then
It's an Indian psyche, which I feel.
How do you miss last time? You tell me why does the Mahabharata end that way? It continues to end that. I mean that overarching influence, much more than Sanskrit theatre,
That is Itihasa.
they call it Itihas. Yeah, the Ramayana, what happens to Ramayana? Why is it that, in every single rendition of Ramayana, it does happen that Veda Sita is, initially rejected, and once again she sent away, and in the later interpolation also, she goes and kills herself. I mean, she ran off a cliff, and just was the brother going to his
That
house.
is also a true story. It is Ramakatha.
Now, this is where we can agree to disagree.
I have one question.
But I have a question for all of you. Okay? I have a question which I want some enlightenment on. And you also especially, madam, and you. Which is that it is said, and I don't know how much you agree with this, that when you look at the 8 parvas of the Ramayana, the first and the last are very clearly, they say, scholars say, I mean I don't know the original Sanskrit, are written in a different literary style, and the rhythm of that narrative also is different. Right? So it is believed that the Balkand, the Balkand, as well as the Uttarakhand, are actually later interpolations. Now, that means, would it be safe to assume, going by this theory, that Valmiki's Ramayana ended when he got into that Pushpa Viman and came home and all is well?
Yeah,
Is that where you think it ended? In which case, then my question to you is, why is it that in fact to a happy ending, a tragic ending was ended, which seems of course more credible. Today you can't imagine the Ramayana without that, without the Uttarakhand. But why is it that that came in if you were so compulsively addicted to comedy, like you're saying, and happy endings?
Sir, actually, Ramayana as a text is poetic art. Natak is visual, and so it is Druk Shravya Madhyam. Poetry is Shravya.
Okay.
There are no rules regarding poetry to have a happy or a sad ending. Drama, there's a strict rule where it needs to have a happy ending.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I'm referring to your comment, which was about the addiction of the Indian psyche
To
to
see
happy
something
endings.
which
To
is
happy endings. So in which case the Indian psyche seems to have invented the Uttarakhand of the Ramayana. And they have very courageously, I mean, it's the last part, I mean, you're all familiar with it, blow by blow. It's a bold piece of writing where it actually challenges Ram and it strips him. Okay, I mean, which in a very sympathetic way. I love that character deeply, but the fact is that it does not pull its punches in that. Twice after that, there was no Agni Pariksha, she was sort of diving into the fire out of grief, out of that sense of pain and rejection that he had inflicted on. And you hear what he said. Valmiki Ramayana, the original from the critical Sanskrit edition, I'm referring to Ashwatthana's thing, where on the battlefield, after he had won, he asked for her to be brought in. Vibhishan went and brought her in front of all these men. Okay, and then he tells her that I didn't come here for you. I came here because I had, as a king, as a Rajput prince, it is my honor which was at stake. Okay, now I have no further need for you. You are free to go with whoever you want, and he starts naming those people, those likely objects that you could go with. And he says you can go with Lakshman, you can go with Vibhishan, you can go with Sugriv, you can go with Hanuman. Oh, Mother of God. I mean, that woman, blameless lady standing there for 11 months, she suffered all the privations and withheld that monster's, advances in spite of the terrible fear. And this is what you do. So she said, okay, light the fire, I'm killing myself, I have no reason to live. It goes that distance. It pulls up all the words.
I think Dr. Madhavi's point is, my point is human psyche is okay, but it's most applicable to drama.
Okay, done. Sure. Well, I'm not saying no. See, these distinctions I don't
Sir,
understand.
it's the same Indian psyche who get changed to Karam Charitra from a tragedy to a happy ending. Where Sita and Ram where she questions the people of Ayodhya as to what type of injustice you have done to me, is it right or wrong. So that's why
No, that also is tragic, but this is not
Yes,
the
it is
most
a drama.
popular version.
It's a That's why
Very few people know of
making it a difference between
Drama and poetry.
drama and poetry. So that's the
Talking about the portrayal in Hindi cinema. I wanted you to get your perspective as a script writer. In times, is there some scholarliness that is missing upon our life? I'll give you an example. The Mahabal serial of Neeraj Chopra is much more scholarly and erudite because of Dr.Madhavi Narsalay and his amazing work in that sense. And we have been missing on that for a long time. So why is the scripts today and the portrait, is there a correlation between them?
There's absolutely no correlation between them, but it's one of the necessary reasons for this state of ours. It's not the sufficient cause for it, because there are other considerations also which come in. Yeah. But one of the things is that, you see, again coming back to what Akhilesh and I was speaking about, see, the film industry is a fascinating study for an anthropologist. Really. They have created a world which is a rather insulated world in most ways. The people who they meet are amongst themselves, the same people they meet, the parties that they go through, etc. Go to, the kind of fare which they consume is cinema, okay, which is recycled reality 80 times over. Okay. So the distinction, the contact with that reality outside is very feeble. They move around in air-conditioned cars with tinted glasses. Okay. So there is no interaction which is taking place there at all. So none of that really, in a very authentic way, informs their imagination. So what they do is that they treat cinema now like a consumer product. Okay, like a toy that you would sort of say, that we have to design this toy to sort of somewhere impart pleasure. Okay, and it's nothing to do with what that thing may be capable of showcasing reality. They're not concerned with that. The definition of entertainment has become very narrow. So this is also a compounded reason that the people themselves, unfortunately, it's impossible to have a political discussion, for example, with them.